Hey y'all, how do we feel about a car vlog? I kind of like doing them because I'm completely uninterrupted by anything happening in the house. The only thing that could potentially interrupt me, of course, is something in traffic. So I'm going to try to stay focused on that and occasionally glance into the lens so that I can connect with you, you know? Let me know your thoughts on the car vlog format and whether it works for you. You're going to hear a lot of stuff kind of clinking around. I am off to Richmond proper to meet up with some girlfriends. So the last video that I did was about my rules for soft living, my soft living principles as I approach 50. Hope you enjoyed that. And if you haven't checked out that video, please go do so. I'd love to hear your thoughts and hear your principles for your soft life, my friends. I mentioned in that video about saying no to others to say yes to yourself, including social engagements, parties, outings, gatherings. What I didn't mention in that video, or I kind of mentioned it, but I didn't get into details about it, is that there are some long-standing commitments that I have to people that I really care about, including where I'm going now. So there are 3 ladies that I used to work with. We worked together, my goodness, it must have been, well, with some of them it was about 10 years, but we've known each other much longer than that. We've known each other, gosh, we've known each other going on 17 years, I think. Whoa, that's a long time. I didn't even think about it like that. Anyway, I really enjoy getting together with them and look forward to our dinner date. We get together, we try once a month. It doesn't always work out. Sometimes it's every other month, and sometimes a few more months pass as life happens, but we have been getting together periodically for a number of years now to catch up with each other and see all the changes in our lives. You know, some of them great changes, some of them painful changes, all of those things. And the reason that I bring up the stuff clinking in the back is because in our group chat, I asked, hey, is anybody interested in some lotions? And they very kindly responded back, sure, we have dry skin, we'll take your lotion. And I was like, thank you, Jesus. And then of course I asked, well, how about some makeup brushes and fragrances? And by the time it was all said and done, I probably got 6 little packages of all sorts of goodies back there to pass along, and I'm glad to do it. And I sharing is caring. I share with people that I care about. So I am really thrilled that those items are going to new homes where they will be loved and paid attention to and used. I'm paying attention as I'm going around these curves. I have a very, very, very windy road leading out of my house to the main road, and there's a lot of deer out here. Unfortunately, I have hit 2 deer, two within the course of maybe a month. Traumatizing experience, traumatizing for the deer, I'm sure, more than for me. But yeah, I don't want to go through that again. So I'm super cautious and slow down when I'm on this road. So the real purpose of today's video is I was in a meeting today, a very, very long meeting that gave me some pause for reflection and thought about setting up conditions for people to thrive. So the lens for this video is work environment, but I want to say that the three reflections that I want to share with you really apply to everywhere. Like there's an analog there for your personal relationships and any other settings where you're interacting with people, group meetings, personal relationships, clubs, hobbies, or whatever, any situation where you're with people. Without getting too much into work detail, because I like to keep a lot of that private. So just a general note about what we were doing in the meeting. It's a norming session where we were discussing as a leadership team staff that were put up for promotion. As we were having the call, I had 3 thoughts that came to mind, and I took a note or two, a little scribble or two on a Post-it pad to share with you all. And like I said, there's an analog to other kinds of relationships. One is that whole saying that you can't judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree. So, you know, it occurred to me, not that I've never thought about it before, but occurred to me anew. You know, I had like a brand new appreciation for the fact that each staff member that we talked about, their ability to perform the duties at the next level is highly dependent on whether they brought the right skill sets and background to be able to even build on to do the next level of work. And it occurred to me that if someone was being asked to perform a role that wasn't really in keeping with their true strengths, they would likely have a really challenging time fulfilling that role. And what I love about that whole saying, you can't judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it's not that the fish is dumb or less than a monkey perhaps, or a human, or whatever, a bear that could climb a tree. It's just that they have a different talent, a different set of skills and abilities that they bring to the world. You know, fish swim and contribute to the ocean ecosystem in a way that monkeys and bears and humans and sloths and those things cannot. They cannot contribute that to ponds and lakes and rivers and oceans. Likewise, a fish cannot contribute to any other ecosystem other than the one that it exists in, with the exception of feeding, you know, others in other parts of the ecosystem for food. But they can't operate, I guess is what I'm saying, in other parts of the system. So this is nothing new at all. We've all heard this before, right? But there was just this appreciation that I had for the talents that staff bring to the work, and the acknowledgement that putting them in right positions to be able to, there was a little bump back there, that's why I made that face. Goodness, there's a little bit of road work going on. Anyway, putting people in situations where they're not able to thrive does not do anyone any favors. Likewise, so the analog, if you think about your relationships, woo! I used to tell my friend this. I have a friend who was interested in dating for a long time and would share with me some of the challenges that she was having dating. She'd find someone that she was interested in, a relationship would begin to blossom, and then of course, you know, once you get past the initial infatuation and honeymoon stage of the first few weeks or months or whatever, you start to see someone's truer colors. Not that you didn't see them truly at the beginning, but their truer colors, the colors become more vivid, and some of the warts and bumps of their personalities, their habits and things like that start to emerge and irk the relationship over time, right? Create issues and fissures and whatever in the bonding that happens in that. I wish y'all could see this river. If I wasn't driving, I would show you. I'm crossing over the James River into Richmond, and the river is calm and full and so beautiful. And the sunset is, well, the sun is beginning to set, as you can see from the golden hour, the golden light on my face. Anyway, back to the relationship thing. As you start to see these lumps and bumps and bruises on the person, and it starts to seep its way into the fabric of your relationship and create like not tethered, that's not the word I'm looking for, tattered fabric and all of that. You know, she and I would talk about those things, and I would always say to her, because this is something that someone said to me way back when I was dating as well and having similar challenges, right? Like, I'm no relationship guru, hello. But I would say to her, you cannot get bananas from someone who doesn't sell them. You can't get bananas from someone who doesn't sell bananas. They're not going to be able to sell it to you. And so it's a really silly way of saying you can't make a person be something that they're not. So people can pretend to be a certain way, like in a dating situation, people can pretend to be a certain way going into the relationship. But really, after a while, as you begin to be in situations that test whether the person really is that way, their true self will emerge, and you'll notice this person, for example, doesn't have the ability to really and truly be caring. This person doesn't have the capacity to understand my background in a way that they can be empathetic about how I thus and such, you know, fill in the blanks. There's a lot of different ways that lack of ability to sell bananas will manifest itself in a relationship. And of course, going back to the work situation, when you hire someone or put someone in a position where they don't have the skill set for it, they can learn things. We can all grow into things, and the same thing in relationships too, but it's more difficult and more challenging, and then we have to temper our expectations. So the reason that I bring up that fish tree saying and this bananas thing is I'm very, very proud of our organization for being really considerate of who we hire and making sure that they have the abilities coming in to build on. They don't have to be perfect coming through the door, but that they have demonstrated through their education, through their background experience, through their interview and the competencies that they demonstrated in their interview and then their previous roles and all of that, that they are ready to take on the specifics of their responsibilities and grow in the role. They have that capacity, that ability. We're not placing them in a situation where they are bound to fail or more likely to fail. That takes a lot of emotional intelligence, the EQ, emotional quotient, and a lot of empathy toward the person to really see them as a whole human coming into a role, knowing that there will be high demands and being considerate of their ability to succeed, and to do it in a way that is fair, just, and equitable, so that you're not misjudging someone and assuming that they can't do things that they either can do or can grow into doing. So it's a balancing act, a delicate balancing act that I think we do fairly well. And I'm really proud of the team for their strong consideration. And so I had two other reflections that I wanted to share. And let me see if I can do that a little bit more quickly than the first, because we're at many minutes in. The second is the importance of having a respectful workplace environment that assumes the good in others, assumes good intent of others. So I have been in a number of positions where it wasn't like that, where the work environment was more suspicious, where the work environment was based on a hierarchy of leadership, where only the people at the top got to make any decisions and no one else ever had any other input or say in things. I've been in positions where people didn't trust leadership, and there was a lot of sort of talking behind closed doors about how incompetent leadership was. Why didn't they do things like this or that? And if I were them, I would do, you can imagine the myriad of toxic things that get said in environments where people are not trusting of each other and not operating from principles of true appreciation for each other, true respect for each other, true acknowledgement and operationalization of basic human courtesy, kindness, and conduct toward each other. And I love that assume good intent thing. It's something that I always say to the team that I work with, because as humans, it's natural for us to, kind of side eye things and question things and be suspicious. And so you have to, as a leader, cultivate an environment where we encourage people to see the good first, So there's an expression that I rely on as a leader, and it's trust but verify. And so that kind of guides the way that I work with my teams. And it's trust that people have good intention in whatever it is that they're doing. Trust that people are bringing their best selves to work. Rather expect it and trust it, right? Trust that people are doing the best that they can with the information that they have on hand. If there's a lot of sound, I'm really sorry. There's a lot of potholes in the city. And I'm going down one of the most beautiful streets in all of Richmond, with some of the most enormous, beautiful homes and elaborate churches and everything. Is really, really pretty. But trust but verify, meaning assume good intent in others. For me, the verify part is not about checking up on them, but it's about helping them manage their work and making sure that they're getting the supports that they need. So anyway, the fish in the tree thing is reflection number one. It's important for people to be positioned to be able to bring their best selves to whatever the endeavor is. And in relationships, same thing. If you don't find someone, and that could be a partner, or it could also apply to your friendships. If you're not in friendships with people who are equipped to support you as a friend, to help you laugh when you need to laugh, to help you navigate through life's craziness, and you're not equipped to help them, that friendship is not going to thrive, right? Second, respectful workplace and respectful relationships. Same thing. There's analogs there, like I said. Coming to the relationship, the work relationship or the interpersonal relationship, with a certain level of commitment to shared respect, mutual understanding, a sense of accountability to each other, and mutual growth, right? Assuming the best in people, all of those, great things that make human relationships blossom. You need that for people to be able to thrive and feel secure in the work environment and in the relationship. And then the third thing that occurred to me is the power of, in situations where people need support, that you are able to offer them, well, not even that, like even when people don't need support and people are performing fabulously, that they have opportunities for professional growth and personal growth at work and in your relationships. There needs to be room in your relationships for people to grow and change and evolve if you're going to continue as friends. Otherwise, it's probably best to part ways, right? And at work, gosh, there's so many bumps. I'm so sorry. What am I doing? What am I doing? And I've got to find parking here. I'm really excited to see everyone. But there've got to be opportunities. The word is opportunity. Opportunities for people to grow and develop. Opportunities for people to acquire new skills, new ways of thinking, to grow into new roles, professional learning, professional development. And that we as leaders, or we as friends, mothers, siblings, or whatever, have to be there to help scaffold the growth of others. You know, part of our role is to support other people. Part of our human role is to cheer others on and support them in their personal growth. That's a good thing. Now, listen, I have a whole nother video brewing in my head, and it's been brewing for a while. And there have been some recent videos that have made me think about this even more, about YouTube and scarcity mentality that people bring to the content creator space. It's a whole nother conversation, y'all, for another day. But long and short of it is there's some toxic dynamics that happen in fragcom, in the makeup community, or whatever, and in life, your relationships, and it could happen at work too, if people approach their relationships from a scarcity mentality, meaning that there's only so much of a success pie. The pie could be money, the pie could be the number of viewers, or if you put it to a work environment, the number of opportunities to be in leadership roles or something like that. So if people bring a scarcity mentality to that, it makes them behave in really untoward ways toward each other. So anyway, I have another video brewing in my head about that. But the reason that I bring that up is that we, as leaders, as wives, as friends, as moms, as daughters, whatever, we have to apply an abundance mentality to our relationships so that we can help other people grow into their best selves. That is the gift that we give the people that we interact with. Like, it's our duty as humans to be abundant in our thinking. Of course, like I mentioned in the last video, you need to have some guidelines about how you do that and with whom you share all of your love, advice, thoughts, you know, so that you are also protecting yourself and your own personal boundaries. Ooh, I got rockstar parking, yeah! Woohoo! But and I'm parked right next to my friend's car, so that's awesome. We're going to walk each other to the car after dinner. But that abundance mentality at work, in relationships, and family puts us in a position to be able to give other people opportunities to be their best selves, for them to grow, for them to learn, for them to thrive, you know? And if it's business, like I'm moving now outside of the work that I do into other kinds of businesses you may have on the side, consulting, for example, heck, YouTube, right? YouTube is not a business for me yet. It might be one day. But if people ask questions about what you're learning from your experience that they can apply to their channel, let me tell you, I've seen a number of times where people have not shared their expertise. They've not shared what they've learned. And they have literally told other people, this hasn't happened to me because I'm too humble. I haven't asked anyone, hey, how did you figure out how to do this and such? That's not true. Excuse me. I asked a couple of people some questions about like editing software and that sort of thing. And the people that I chose carefully who I asked, because I needed generous souls, and they were more than giving with their knowledge. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But I've heard from other people that they have asked other creators who were maybe growing their channel or something like that for advice. And those other people have withheld and been like, no, I had to work too hard for it. You got to learn that on your own. What kind of, pardon my French, bullshank? It's still a family channel. I can't say the word, y'all, but I'm thinking it. Bullshank is that. You can't share with someone how you did, like, you don't have to hold a whole course for the person. You can't give them a few tips to get them going. No, I don't play those games. I don't play those reindeer games. So When I'm giving, I'm giving. You know what I mean? When I'm open for people that deserve it. And maybe in those situations, the other creator thought that the person asking didn't deserve it. But from the situations that I've observed and the way it's been described to me, that is not the case. So friends, that said, I am going to close out this video because I see my good girlfriend, and we will talk in the next one. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments. Bye.